Let's bring in Anthony Ruggiero. He is a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and spent more than 17 years in the U.S. government as an expert on sanctions. We're talking about imposing new sanctions against North Korea. Congress probably will vote on that maybe as early as this evening. But North Korea has been existing under sanctions for years, hasn't it? Can we impose something that will get their attention?
Well, they have had sanctions imposed on them for years, but they're clearly not working because they're not well enforced. The Chinese do not enforce North Korea sanctions to the level they need to. North Korea still has access to the international financial community. I think it would surprise people to learn that there was a network inside China that was exposed doing U.S. dollar transactions for North Korea for 6 years. And North Korea is not the most sanctioned country in the world. So those are some of the common myths that we hear about North Korea sanctions. It's nowhere near where we were on Iran sanctions before 2013.
So if you were advising the president or the Congress as to what kind of sanctions would be effective, what would you institute?
Well, we have to go after China. I mean, it's clear that the Chinese companies and Chinese banks are complicit in North Korea's sanctions evasion. There are networks inside China that are working with North Korea. North Korea is still sending coal to China. They're still buying coal, some of the reports suggest. So it all goes through China. It is important to go to Southeast Asia and talk about sanctions implementation, but that really pales in comparison. And the Chinese are not going to put the level of pressure on North Korea necessary until their own risks or their own interests are put at risk.
But you get the impression that Kim Jong-un sort of listens to only his own counsel. He wants nuclear weapons. He has nuclear weapons because it will ensure the survival of his regime. Can sanctions do anything to dissuade him?
Well, they can. I think if you're going after the revenue that Kim uses for his nuclear program, his missile program, and for the elites, you start to get at some of the stability issues that I know the Chinese don't like, and it's why they won't put the amount of pressure, but that's really what it's going to take. I mean, Kim Jong-un needs to know that North Korea, that their nuclear program makes them less secure, not more secure, and the way to do that is to go after their revenue, whether it's coal or the $500 million they get from exporting slave labor or from selling these items to countries like Iran and Syria.
We've got the Carl Vinson off the coast. The Air Force launched one ICBM that flew 4,000 miles and splashed down not far from the north. We're going to launch another one in a couple of days. Is that likely to get Kim Jong-un's attention, do you think?
It should. I think that it's clear that North Korea knows that it cannot use its nuclear weapons, otherwise its country will be annihilated. And I think it's important that these military moves show to North Korea that there will be retaliation for any kind of military attack, which North Korea has done before. It's not the United States that has attacked North Korea since the Korean War. It's the North Korea that has attacked South Korea, including sinking a South Korean freighter in 2010. So I think it's important these military moves show North Korea that there's no possible military action that they could take.
Anthony Ruggiero, Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thanks.